Merry Christmas, everybody. We're back at the table. I'm the man without silver, they call me. But we're going to react to a video from a man named Dominic Frisby. His channel is called Money, Markets, and More. Very, very good channel. Just ran across it a few months ago. A friend of mine sent me this particular video here we're about to watch. And he's a financial expert, among other things. He interviews people, does all kind of stuff. Very smart man. He's from the UK. He basically takes his phone and walks around, and kind of like me, except he's a lot more smarter. This video we're getting ready to react to is called Why You Should Own Some Bitcoin. Now, he's a gold bug, this guy. He's an older man. But I loved his explanation of what Bitcoin is and things like that. And again, this channel's mission is to not only have a global adoption of Bitcoin and get out of this system we're in now, but we have to do that through education and also educating people to wake up about what's going on here. So without further ado, Dominic Frisby.
Hello and welcome to Money Markets and More with me, Dominic Frisby, coming to you today on a chilly morning from Warsaw in Poland. And today we're talking about Bitcoin. Now, it is now almost 15 years since Satoshi Nakamoto announced his invention, Bitcoin, to the world. And since then, it has grown and grown. And like most things online, Bitcoin has divided people. It has its admirers, it has its detractors. And they argue with as much vitriol as the political left and right. But the admirers have won. If Bitcoin was going to die, it would have died by now. It hasn't. It's thriving. It has more than 100 million users. Its market cap is roughly $750 billion. And the most common reason I hear for not wanting to invest is, I don't understand it. So let me explain what Bitcoin is. It is a new system of digital money for the internet. You might call it cash for the internet. But unlike pounds or dollars or euros, this money isn't issued by a government. Instead, it's issued by an international network of computers according to an open source protocol. That is a protocol that anyone can read. There's no government involvement in Bitcoin. It's apolitical money. And its value is determined by the market, what people are prepared to buy and sell it for. But then people go, well, how does it work? Okay, and you explain the blockchain, decentralized ledgers, the problem of double spending, Byzantine generals, mining, and all the rest of it. And a glazed look comes into people's eyes, and they go away and they shake their heads, and they decide they don't understand it. Now, most people don't know how the combustion engine works. They still use cars and buses. Most people don't know how hypertext transfer protocol works. They still use the World Wide Web. Most people don't understand what simple mail transfer protocol is, and they still send and receive emails.
When we were first showing the internet to people, TCP/IP had to be loaded. That and just explained as a stack layer in layer 2, blah blah blah, or what and then suddenly people are like, and then I have to find this browser because it wasn't in the operating system. And so that's the same as today. Yes, it's on the blockchain. Yes, you have to go and get a digital wallet. Yes, this thing is called a SAT. What the hell? How do I transfer it? I don't understand an invoice. All of that's very similar to feel to how do I find a web page? Where's the URL?
It is very similar to the internet. I'm old enough to know when the internet came out, and I had those questions and stuff like that. And I thought it was crazy. But again, it's very tough to judge a new system from an old system. That's why you got to study, watch videos like that, and read the Bitcoin books. And you can, stay on this channel, of course, subscribe. If you want to learn more about Bitcoin. And I don't diss gold or nothing like that. But again, I love my country. I love freedom. And that's why I love and choose Bitcoin.
Almost everybody, including the governor of the Bank of England, does not understand how our modern system of money, banking and credit works. I'm not sure I do. I struggle to find a single politician who can explain how money is created. And yet we all still use money. You don't need to understand how it works in order to use it. All you have to understand is that it does work. And as I say, if it didn't, it would have died by now, but it hasn't. It's thriving. And to give you an idea of just how robust Bitcoin is, the network is more powerful than the world's top 500 supercomputers combined.
That's a fact, and I had to read that again. I looked that up actually, and I've seen it before, but I had a hard time believing that. Again, the top 500 supercomputers on the planet combined does not even compete with Bitcoin networking and computing power. It's unbelievable, man. I mean, and it's ran by us, the people, not by a government, not by a country, not by oligarchs, but by us.
Protocol has been studied and verified by about a gazillion nerds. It is technologically superior money. One thing that distinguishes this apolitical money from pounds or dollars or euros, that's money issued by government, is that there is a finite supply, 21 million coins. Governments can't tinker with Bitcoin's money supply with political objectives in mind and create more of it. The finite and limited supply means Bitcoin's value is likely to increase, unlike the purchasing power of government money, which decreases as more and more of it gets created. And if you dispute this, ask yourself what a pound buys you today or a dollar compared to 10, 20 or 50 years ago. Each Bitcoin is divisible to 8 decimal places. So the smallest denomination is the Satoshi or Sat, and there are thus 100 million Satoshis to a Bitcoin. A dollar would be about 2,500 sats. A penny would be about 35 sats. A cent, 25 sats. And that means you can send micropayments which amount to 1/35th of a penny. Now try getting a bank to process a payment of that size. And micropayments open up so many possibilities for economic growth. Imagine if instead of getting a like for this YouTube video or my Twitter or Insta or Facebook post, or indeed yours, I got a sat. It's a meaningless amount to the person paying it, but a million sats instead of a million likes would be over $400. Not bad. Micropayments will dramatically enable the Internet of Things. It's a huge growth area.
I used to be a silver ambassador when I was, really into silver, and I'd give out 10th ounces, and I'd give out dimes, and I'd give out fractional pieces and stuff, and tell people, the 3 things I used to tell them, study it, buy more, and tell other people. Well, now with Bitcoin, I can just zap them a few Satoshis, 1,000 Satoshis, 5, whatever. And it's pennies in today's money, but I give it to them instantly and they see how it works. And they're like, wow, you just see their face. But the difference is between sending it Cash App or Venmo or Zelle or something like that. Not only is it instantly there, but it settles, the payment settles there, and I didn't ask for anybody's permission. Again, guys, Satoshis are 100, there's 100 million Satoshis in every Bitcoin. And if you buy Satoshis, it's a finite supply. There's only 21 million Satoshis. Or 21 million Bitcoin. You have no idea what the purchasing power of that will be one day. You know what I mean? We're going to be looking back at these prices. Again, you can get 1 million Satoshis for $400 and something of a diluted dollar, mind you, that we have no idea how many there are. There's only 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. I know that sounds a lot, but remember, there's many been lost, and there's 8 billion people to split it with. The fair share of Satoshis, if everybody split up evenly, would only be 200,000 Satoshis. That's it. 200-something thousand. That's all everybody would have. And you mean to tell me you can buy a million for $400-something? Wow.
The internet is, broadly speaking, a borderless medium. I can communicate with pretty much anyone in the world instantaneously as long as they have an internet connection. But if I want to cross borders in the real world, it's a time-consuming process. It requires visas, passports, security checks, and all the rest of it. If I want to send money to other parts of the world, this too can be a burdensome process, requiring forms, forex conversion, customs declarations, money laundering inquiries, and goodness knows what else. If I wanted to send a payment to somebody else in the world of, say, 10p, or even 1/35th of a penny, it is just impossible. And that limits the possibilities of government money. Government money is also limited by national borders, by population, by economic size. Even the US dollar, which is the reserve currency of the world, is limited. If you try opening a US dollar account outside of the US, it's problematic. If you're living in remote rural Africa or Asia, it's well nigh impossible. It's hard enough getting a bank account in your own currency. But with Bitcoin, you can send to anyone, anywhere, huge value transactions or tiny value transaction. And the transfer is almost frictionless and almost instantaneous. Technically, it is a superior form of money to government currency. It's backed, as I say, by a rigorous computing system and not by the whims of central bankers and politicians who have other agenda in mind than maintaining the soundness of their money, their careers, not least. So, we're talking about a technologically superior form of money. The purchasing power is likely to increase rather than decrease, has greater scalability. Why use something like the pound as a savings vehicle then? It's lost a third of its value to inflation just since 2020. And with the potential of Bitcoin to become the default medium of exchange on the internet and in the Internet of Things, and with its potential also to become the default savings vehicle of the internet, both for individuals and for corporations, the potential of Bitcoin is simply immense. Why would you not want to have some exposure to something with such extraordinary potential? For me, the risk is not owning Bitcoin. The risk is surely not owning it.
I completely agree. The biggest risk as an asset allocator or a saver in money is not having Bitcoin in 2023 and in the future for your family, generations, everything else. If you're a gold and silver stacker or you don't have any Bitcoin or you're just a person that's skeptical or has stocks and bonds or whatever, this is what I suggest. I said this in the other video. I don't tell anybody how to allocate their savings or anything like that or investments. But if you don't know anything about Bitcoin, all I'm asking you to do is take a hard look at it and study it. Again, if people ask me how much to put in, I would put in 1% of your savings investment assets. In other words, not your house, not your car, not that stuff. I'm talking about the 1% of your assets. So if you have gold, silver, cash for savings, stocks and bonds, that big portfolio of stuff, and let's say it's worth 100,000, I would put 1% in that. And again, the reason why I say 1%, because if you can't lose 1% on something like this, that could be the future, and you can't afford to do that or you're too scared to do that, you shouldn't be investing in the first place. Because if you still have a portfolio of bonds and stocks and real estate and stuff like that, guys, the future's on its way, man, and it's gonna be crazy. And then after that, what I suggest is once you get that 1%, study Bitcoin. In order to have a Bitcoin standard and adopt Bitcoin around the world, we have to study it. This Bitcoin ETF, today is December 24th when I'm recording this video. They say the Bitcoin ETF is going to pass from between now and January 10th. And I'm not doing this for FOMO, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I'm just telling you, when that ETF passes, the world is going to change.
You are not ready for this. Plain and simple. A spot Bitcoin ETF will open the freaking floodgates of investor money, sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, all these other big players. They control a total of like $50 trillion. They only need to invest a tiny fraction of their money into Bitcoin to send the price to six figures. A slightly larger fraction, we get to seven figures. The ETFs are a once in a market liquidity event. Get ready.
And that's not hyperbole. That's the truth, okay? We're going to go from retail ownership of Bitcoin to institutional ownership in Bitcoin. In other words, however many users there are now, Bitcoin users that, use it regularly or hodl or put it in cold storage and all these Bitcoiners, there will be more people or more money and people in Bitcoin than there are with the people that are in now. All the hardcore Bitcoiners. And those people are not going to have any idea what's going on. But if you're on this channel, you will understand Bitcoin. You will not buy Bitcoin on an ETF. You will not buy Bitcoin for a trade. Because if you're doing that, you're trying to trade it for cash or gold or silver or something like that, you don't understand Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin is for long-term savings. And then learn as much as you can about it. Hodl it. Watch the purchasing power of it go out. I'm not talking about in dollars. I'm talking about what you can purchase with it in the future. It is the hardest, most finite, scarce money that's ever been created on this planet. We did not choose fiat currency, ladies and gentlemen. The government chose that for us. Gold and silver, we chose that because it was the hardest money at the time. And gold and silver did a great job. Silver for smaller transactions, copper for even smaller, and gold for the bigger ones. Gold is God's money. I got no problem with it. And it did its job for 5,000 plus years. But now there's a new sheriff in town, guys. And I'm telling you, if you're watching my channel and you are on zero on Bitcoin, that is the worst allocation you can have. And I cannot tell you that enough. I'm not telling you this to get rich. I'm not telling you this to scare you or FOMO. But all I'm saying is between now and January 10th, I think it's going to drop before that, before January 10th. Get to 1%. And then again, just study it and study your ass off and figure out what it is. Watch my videos. Again, I'm just a host at the restaurant. I'm going to introduce you to all these great Bitcoiners and great thinking minds. But again, read the books, watch the podcasts, and do your best to study Bitcoin and understand what this thing is. Because I missed out on the internet. I missed out on Amazon and things like that because I didn't understand it. And do not be like me. Okay, I am telling you right now, as a 48, almost 49-year-old man, I'm starting to recognize the trends. And as a man, most of you guys are men watching this channel. If you do not buy Bitcoin and understand Bitcoin, I'm not saying this to be funny, you're doing a disservice for you and your family. I know you guys are leaders. I know you love the Constitution, the Bible, God, your family in this country, and I know you guys do. So if you really love freedom and you want the best way, monetarily speaking, to earn that freedom, you got to do it through Bitcoin. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.